Welcome to the Cybertruck unveil. I love you guys too. I love you guys too. Hey. So I present to you the Cybertruck.
That was literally the reaction I had when I first saw this truck. It was like, what have you done, Elon? What are you doing with this Cybertruck? This is crazy. I thought, like most people, that this was some sort of prank, that they were just playing on the audience, they were just playing along for a while, and then they were eventually going to reveal the real truck and just take this piece away from the stage and roll in the proper Cybertruck. But as time went on, I realized that this is probably not a prank, or we're not getting punked here. This is actually the real Cybertruck that we're looking at. So as I'm talking about my thoughts on the Cybertruck here, we're going to have some fun in Photoshop, and we're going to redesign it and see what we can play around with, just to have some fun with it. And you know what? Once I realized that this was a Cybertruck, I started laughing. I laughed out loud, not because of the design of the truck, but because of pure happiness. I realized I was playing along with this programming we all had of what a truck is supposed to be and what a truck is supposed to look like. Everybody has their own history of what a truck is supposed to be and look like, and this goes against everything we know a truck is supposed to be. But when I started looking at this truck from a perspective of, okay, let's think of it as I've never seen a truck before. I know what a truck is supposed to do, what the utility of a truck is, what it needs to be capable of doing, but design-wise, I've never seen a truck before, and that gave me a new perspective on looking at the Cybertruck, and it became a lot more interesting by looking at it that way. Because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Some say this is beautiful, some say it's complete shit and ugly, but proportionally, if we look at the Cybertruck, proportionally it is like every other truck. It's like a very low 3D polygon model that's not completely rendered, and we're still waiting for the surfaces to smooth out and stuff like that. And it's a very, very simple and geometric design. So by the way, when I talk about sketching using simple geometries, this is taking that to a completely new level and actually putting that in production, which is insane. But the thing is, proportionally, this is like every other truck out there. It is an electric car, or it is an electric truck, which means that you can change the proportions a little bit. You don't need to have a long hood, for example, to fit a large engine. But I thought that the strategy of going over to electric vehicles from traditional vehicles that everybody's used to is to create them and make them as similar as possible to the cars that we're used to. But I guess that is not the strategy that Tesla is going to go with moving forward, and this is just proof of that, and I think that is really, really cool. So if we put 5 minutes of work onto this truck in Photoshop, we can definitely make it look like a regular Tesla truck that the majority would be satisfied with seeing, and everybody would remember it for about a year, and then it would slowly fade out into the background of all the other electric cars and trucks that's going to be coming within the next 5 to 10 years. Or we can go crazy and create something like this that's just going to shock everybody and really push the design and the technology forward. Because I think if Tesla drops something like this is going to push other manufacturers to start experimenting with the design, and especially if this truck gets accepted and the sales are good, it's going to be proof that creating electric cars with these strange looking proportion of styling and the new way of doing things is actually acceptable. So I hope more manufacturers are going to start pushing the extreme to the extreme end of one point of design. In this case, we have a very geometric, non-styling design of the car, and that is in the far end of that type of spectrum. But there are many other spectrums that I would love to see other manufacturers play around with and see what they can come up with. To me, what makes this beautiful is the complete lack of styling and the complete lack of shits given about what anybody thinks about this truck. You just followed their vision of Tesla, and they said, we're going to do this, we're going to drop this, and this is where we see our brand going. And you know, it's really respectable of them to do that and to have the courage to do that when they probably knew that this is going to be a very polarizing car. But to me, it feels like finally we get something refreshing. Finally we get something that doesn't look like every other car out there. So for the past, I don't know how long, 10, 15, 20 years or so, every other car that comes out, you know, it feels like it's a version of a car that already exists. There is a few minor changes to the styling, and it looks beautiful, it might look very cool, but it's not something that you're going to remember, or it's not something that's going to change the way we design cars moving forward. So this to me is very refreshing, and I'm really happy that Tesla decided to go this way. But let's go back in time a little bit. And when I sketched this on with pen and paper, I realized that this can actually be sketched using just a ruler and a pen. You can sketch this truck easily in 5 minutes or so, except for the wheels, of course, you need something round for that. But one thing I noticed when I was sketching this car is that it reminds me of a few timeless classics. One is the Lancia Stratos, which has a similar sloping front end to this, and also similar lights in the front. And the other car is the Lotus Esprit S1, and of course, more specifically, the James Bond version of that, which Elon Musk actually purchased and has somewhere in his home right now. But another car that this reminds me of is, this might come as a surprise, but actually the Lamborghini Countach. And the reason for that is the shock value that this truck gives the world now when we see it for the first time. And also the lines of the car kind of reminds me a little bit of a Lamborghini Countach, especially when you look at it in the side view, shrink the proportions down, lower it a little bit, it's not far off from a Lamborghini Countach. And it also reminds me of a car called Citroën Karin, or Karin in Swedish. It looks very similar to that car as well. And of course, there's no secret that Elon Musk is a big Blade Runner fan, and the Cybertruck has clearly taken inspiration from the sci-fi movie genre and its concept design, and of course its automotive design as well, and that can clearly be seen here with this Cybertruck design. To me, it feels like the Cybertruck, this could easily have been driven by Tom Cruise in Oblivion or Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar, because it has that spacey, futuristic feel to it. It's almost like an architectural design instead of a car design. It feels more like a unit and not so much like a truck, with a very, very simple design that it's stripped down to the bare metal, and that is literally. You know, when I was studying car design, we worked with Volkswagen on a project, and we learned about the design philosophy of each brand that we worked with, so Volkswagen, Audi, and Lamborghini. And the Volkswagen design philosophy is that form always follow function. Every line on the car of a Volkswagen needs to serve a purpose. And when I look at the Cybertruck, it literally does not have a single line that doesn't have to be there for the work, for the truck to work as designed. I imagine it being like this when Franz and his team was sketching the concept ideas and the early concepts for the Cybertruck. They might have done like a curved roof or something, and Elon was standing over their shoulders asking why. That was the only question he kept asking. This is just in my imagination. He just kept asking why. Why are you putting that radius there? Why is the roof curved? Why do you have some stylized front lights? And you know, when Franz couldn't come up with some ideas or some answers or justifications for it, this is the result. A stripped down, straight-lined geometric design that we've never seen before. So, is it polarizing? Yeah, of course. I mean, I think every new car is supposed to be polarizing. Otherwise, it's just another new car that nobody's going to remember and that doesn't really push anything forward. So, being as polarizing as possible when it comes to car design, and especially technology, I think it's a really good thing. So just do outrageous stuff like this and put it out there, shake things up, break the norm, and introduce new ideas which on top of these ideas, we can have even more advanced technology and ideas when it comes to design of cars. And specifically now that we go into the electric era, there are so many possibilities with car design because, you know, we don't need all this stuff inside. It's just a shell that sits on a chassis with batteries on it. So on top of that, we can create whatever we want and whatever kind of styling that we want without having these restrictions that comes with having a package with a transmission and engine. And I think because Tesla had the courage to put this Cybertruck out, I really hope that other manufacturers will follow and try to put their designs to the extreme in whatever direction of extreme they want to go, but just push a little bit and go a little bit further than you think it's safe, and see how how people are responding to the design. And especially if this sells well, I think that will be proof that you don't have to go the slow route and introduce electric cars anymore. You can actually take the electric cars, the platforms of electric cars, and do wild things like this and have some fun and creativity with the new possibilities that you get with electric propulsion. And honestly, I bet this design of the Cybertruck, this clean design and straight design, was actually probably more complicated to design than if they have gone with a more traditional route. We've seen so many talented designers put out versions and renderings of what they thought the Tesla Cybertruck would look like, and most of them, some of them were really, really beautiful, but they were still too safe. They would still be just another Tesla, just like we expected it to look like, and not push anything forward, including my own. You know, I did a design of the Tesla truck here on the channel, and it doesn't look anything like that, and I'm actually happy it doesn't, because that would have been, because really, would you have seen a Tesla truck rolling up and be exactly as you expected it to be? How boring would that be, really? So I would definitely rather see something like this out on the roads, something crazy like this, than to have it be just a Tesla Model X with like half of the top chopped off or something like that. When companies do crazy things like this, they are of course going to be criticized first because it's so far away from what we're used to. But let me ask you this. 50 years from now, which car do you think you will remember strongest? The Tesla Cybertruck or the Mustang Mach-E? Think about that for a second and then think about why that is. So those are my thoughts on the Cybertruck. The thing is, people might ask, do you think it's beautiful? Do you think it's a good looking design or whatever? But to me, that's really not the point here. The point is, did they go for it? Did they create something new? And did they push the needle forward? And in my opinion, they definitely did. And that is all that matters to me in this day and age when everybody is copying everybody. And all you have to do now to create a new car is to take an existing car, remove the badge, maybe change the grille a little bit, put your badge on it, and you have another brand of car. So I'm really happy to see these types of designs, and I really hope this will encourage other manufacturers to start going some extreme ways as well. Let me know if you agree with me or if you think this is complete nonsense, everything I just said in this video. I would love to hear your thoughts on the Cybertruck. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Or do you even hate it? Let me know below. And if you enjoy these kind of videos, please hit the like button. I'm trying to reach 200,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and we're running out of time, but I know we can do it, and of course that has to be done with your help. So if you enjoy these kind of videos, hit the subscribe button and the notification and the bell as well. That way you get notified when I upload new stuff like this. Thanks so much for spending a few minutes with me today. I'm the Sketch Monkey. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.